Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Fan Behavior and F1 Podcast. I'm Zoe. I'm here with Hannah.
Hi.
We are unfortunately, this is our very first
I
remote
know.
episode.
Yeah.
We are recording separately because our first recording did not record.
It hasn't happened in so long that I just stopped remembering it could be a problem.
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, But alas, it happened. And you know what? I said to you, I think this happened for a reason because
hmm
the universe knew we had to discuss the Abu Dhabi Dinner 2.0,
Yeah.
and we didn't discuss that in the first episode or the first version.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yeah,
that's
and
why
I'll
it
catch up
happened.
with that headspace that you're in probably by the end, but I've been really tested today, so I haven't gotten there yet. But yes,
Just
I am
take
glad we get to talk about it. I'll be
just
fine.
take it
I'll be fine.
as another chance for us to talk and hang out and talk about
Obviously.
what we talked about before just again.
Yeah,
No,
it's
we're
just
gonna
hard, and we know what it is. We talked about it before we got on, but you just can't it's going to be wonderful and it's going to be totally different. But when you feel like you have something that's golden and
yeah,
you can't do it again, it's too
yeah.
bad.
Let's be honest, not much of the episode was like super high quality except for one bit of it. The rest
Yeah.
of it was like, it was an average episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring it. We're gonna bring it.
Yeah.
And get into all the Abu Dhabi ness once more.
Yes, let's go.
Let's recap again. Um, okay, before we get into the race weekend, though, we talked about this before, but we have to rehash it because it is important
Yeah.
information, which is the new AlphaTauri team name.
Yes.
Racing, well, okay, not official team name,
Yeah.
but rumored to be their new team name next season. Racing Bulls, scale of 1 to 10. You're giving it,
I don't know, like a 2.
oh, a 2. Okay. I would say
I
it's like
think
a
it's
solid 5.
okay. I just think it's for a brand that's just so good at marketing. Racing Bulls feels like the lamest name of all time,
Yeah.
but I'm happy to be proved wrong, just like with Vegas. You know?
Totally, totally. I guess I'm like kind of coming, even just in like the last 12 hours, I'm kind of coming around to it a little bit more, just simply because of like running with the bulls, racing
Sure.
bulls, the bull part of it.
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know.
understand how we got here.
I it's
I
not
just think it's
complicated.
like still pretty lame. No, because I was going through that. I was like, wait, yeah, okay, I understand. But again, we talked about this earlier too. Like, I just why I mean, I'm sure there's a reason we can, and it's like, we've moved forward, it's a new team, but like I just thought Toro Rosso was such a great name
I
that
know.
like
I do wonder why they can't go back.
yeah, and like that's fine to not go back. And again, by the time I think it's also just any time something's new, you're just like,
Mm,
that's not what I know. And so that will be weird
sure.
and I don't like it. But because I don't think I've actually ever been like a real time fan when a
Mm,
team
a
name has
change.
changed.
Sure. Yeah,
So
because
I haven't like lived through that yet.
Alpine Renault was before our time.
hmm
So
And
we didn't
then
even,
even the like change to Alpha Tauri was like not part of
well,
my
that was even before Renault,
yeah.
AlphaTauri. So yeah, I agree. We'll figure it out. Well, apparently their new, again, rumors, their new title sponsors are Visa and Cash App.
Get that
So
money.
get that money. American brands or companies. So maybe there's a chance that, we can hitch our wagon to one of those.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We both use visas, right?
Yeah.
I
Most of
think I
my cards
do.
are Visa. I do think it's funny though, because like I didn't really have a say in the matter. Like I chose you choose a bank or you choose a credit card provider and then you just get a Visa, MasterCard. I mean, with Amex, obviously Amex is
Yeah,
its
I was gonna
own like
say,
special
yeah,
thing, but like
yeah.
especially with like a debit card, you don't really It's just whatever
It is what
debit
it
card
is.
provider the bank you
Sure.
use provides, I guess.
Totally. Yes. And then their livery colors apparently are going to be silver and blue, which
Okay.
that's good. Like I
Yeah, I
think
like that.
that will look good. I think I'm curious like what the race suit is going to look like
Hmm.
because I
I
do
also go ahead.
no, it wasn't important.
I don't love a silver livery, so I like really
Oh yeah, because you didn't like the
yeah, I don't
chrome.
like I don't like when I didn't like I like the black Mercedes better than the silver one.
Mm,
So anyway, I just hope they lean. I mean, it's hard because the Red Bull obviously is so navy heavy, so it will probably be silver
well,
heavy,
I think
but
it's going to be blue heavy.
that's good. That's what I want
I
it to
think it's
be.
going to be blue heavy with silver. But I see my
Accents.
silver in my head is more like a chrome, which I know you're not really a fan of, but
Well, no, I
I
don't mind
like
the
the chrome,
accents. I just don't like it when it's the whole main event.
the whole thing.
Hmm.
Right. Right,
Like
right.
I personally, for me, don't like
Mhm.
driving a silver car. It's not for me.
Right.
I
Okay.
have
Yeah.
because who cares? But like, it's not
You're
for
more of
me.
a matte person. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm excited to find out and hopefully they'll announce it soon and just put us all not out
up
of
our
our misery
misery.
because it's not like it's that like depressed. We're like really
Yeah,
struggling, but I'm
yeah.
curious to know. I would like to know. Um, the other big piece of news was the Christian Horner Lewis Hamilton beef.
Mm-hmm.
Beef's maybe a strong word. The what did he what's
Tete
the
a
word for
tete.
what he did? Well, like ruffling of the feathers, I
Sure.
suppose. Stirring the pot.
Yes, I
Christian
mean he is
Horner.
just a pot stirrer. It's
For
in
those
his
who
DNA.
Yeah, for those who missed it, Christian came out this week and said that Lewis Hamilton's camp made contact with Red Bull about inquiring about, would they be interested maybe in Lewis Hamilton? Sort of. I'm not saying exactly what he said, but basically saying, Lewis was interested in coming to Red Bull, and we said no, or that we're not interested. Lewis then came out and said, this never happened. I never made
Hmm.
contact with him. Then again, it came out from the Red Bull camp that it was Lewis's father
Yeah,
that made contact. Now, we
via
said this
text,
via text, which is an important distinction because a text is very informal. Yeah, and it's receipts. I
printed
mean,
out.
Dorinda Medley said on Real Housewives of New York, say it, forget it, write it, regret it.
Regret it. I mean, and like what? How true?
Like Anthony Hamilton needed to take a page out of Dorinda Medley's book and
Yeah.
or
Unfortunately, he's
take
probably not
her.
familiar with her work, but yeah.
I don't think many people are. But anyway, um, so yeah, so in text form, Lewis obviously he said this wasn't true. We had said at the time or when this was going on, like they're probably both telling their version of the truth.
Right.
Like Christians sort of saying the truth because it's like Lewis's father, but then Lewis is telling the truth because Lewis's dad is not a part of his team.
And Lewis probably didn't know.
That's which honestly makes it even worse because if he didn't know
Yeah.
and his dad was acting out on his like without his son's, that's exactly probably why Lewis like fired his father when he fired
Yeah.
him like many years earlier because it was just like you're meddling and it's
Yeah.
not what I need
He's
here.
also stirring the pot. So, I mean, I think it definitely happened. And I think Christian didn't need to say it out loud. But honestly, what like a piece of gold for Christian, the Christian type human to have in his back pocket to just, when
Yeah,
an interview is getting dull. Oh my God, did I tell you? Lewis Hamilton's father texted me.
and to just make Toto pissed. That really is
Yeah.
the reason why he said it. Was just like, you know what? I want to make Toto Wolff mad.
You
Did you see
have
that?
you have it printed out. I have it printed out.
Totally. Did you see
Yeah.
the image of Toto and Christian today?
I did, and it's such mixed messages, I just don't understand.
And
Like
I'm
what's
telling
going
you,
on?
it's there are dysfunctional dads. It's like
Yeah,
one
and they're
day they're
so like
fighting.
chummy in the photo too. Like they look so happy to be together.
I know. I wonder if Toto's just really happy that they got P2. And so he's just like, who cares? Like, I'm
Yeah.
happy. We did the
I think
best
he's
we
really happy to
could,
throw this car in the garbage.
I
Or,
guess. I
whatever
don't
you do
know.
with a F1 car when you're done with it.
Put it in a museum.
Yeah.
in the factory. Um, I guess it wasn't a race winning car. I think they do save or they do put on display all race winning cars. But this one didn't win a race, so maybe they can throw it away.
Maybe they'll donate it to charity.
Maybe we can get it
Oh,
and put it in our new set,
yes, that makes sense.
hanging from the
From the
ceiling.
ceiling. Nice. We'll have to get your parents' ceiling and floor reinforced just so there's no damage. Don't want any debris.
No, yeah, that would be bad. That would be really bad.
That would
Also,
be
like,
worse than our audio not recording.
so like like we can't even get a couch. We honestly cannot get a couch down the steps into the basement
Yeah.
anyway. So there's no way that we're getting a Formula One car, but it's nice to dream.
Yeah,
Anyway, I just liked the stirring of the pot, and it was giving Drive to Survive
for sure.
in real life. Like when people are like Drive to Survive, didn't it's like no, this is like this
Yeah.
does happen. These
Yeah.
things do happen.
Yeah,
Which
this is like
is
the edited the clip that you're like, oh, that's edited. It's like, no,
right.
no, no, this is in real time.
It's real. It's real. Okay, to the race weekend we go. We didn't actually talk about this in the first version of this episode, so we can mention it now that
Okay.
10 rookies took place in FP1.
Yes.
Congratulations to them. Felipe Drugovich came in P2 in FP1, which is, maybe
Fantastic.
we'll bring him up later on in the episode, but
Yes, I remember why. I'll bookmark
do,
that.
do you remember when we thought he was replacing Lance and Coda?
Oh yeah, because they had his poster up everywhere.
Yeah, for those who don't know, they like leading up to Coda, like the days before, they were, they have like all those like the posters that they put up of all the drivers, like kind of all in a line around the racetracks, and they were putting them up, but instead of putting Lance up, it was images of Felipe, and so people were just like, "What the
Weird
heck's going
announcement.
on?" Very weird, and like, why? Like, why would you ever confuse? It just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any
Well, just
sense.
like I don't even know why those were ever sent to the printer. You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like
It
what
makes no sense.
that. Yeah. No, that never should have happened. But
It was all a false alarm. Again, we were
or it
creating
was the
drama.
foreshadowing. It's just too soon to tell.
Well, he's not replacing. Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Lance is
We'll
always up in
see.
the air because Lance is just done when he wants to be. Like we just have no
So true.
idea.
So true. Okay. To on to quali. So Carlos Sainz goes out in Q1. That was the big to do, and um, it really, as we saw today, it really just ruined his entire weekend. And really, he's been sort of off since Vegas, which
Do you
is
want to
not
talk
that long
about
ago. My distaste,
your
not
heart about
distaste, not
Carlos?
distaste. I'm like, okay, here's what it is. I think I have Carlos Sainz fatigue, and I don't really know what that means because it's not like he's been around a bunch. Like you would think I would have Max Verstappen fatigue. I guess I kind of do. I don't know. I'm just like sort of like over Carlos.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's kind of like when you have a crush on somebody and then you're like, oh my God. And then like after a week, you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like,
I understand.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a moment in time. I think it will probably come
Yeah, that
back.
that I know. Yeah, it'll loop back around.
It'll loop back around. But I just found him to be like mildly irritating and Oscar Piastri was annoyed with him, and so therefore I was annoyed on behalf of
Right.
Oscar Piastri because I don't know
Because
now.
yeah, his like ability to get irritated is pretty low.
Yeah, and I just like trust Oscar.
Yeah,
You know what I
implicitly.
mean? Like I don't
Yeah,
think of him as someone who's ever gonna like have like a beef that doesn't make sense.
correct.
You know what I
That's
mean?
yes. I do know. That's so beautifully said. He's not
Like
going to have a beef that doesn't make sense. Like his like being brought into F1 was beef that made sense. Like you're putting words in my
totally.
mouth. No.
Yes. You're
So
so
I'm going
right.
to tell you no.
You're
And then he's
so
been just
right.
a sweet little human. And then he's
Just
like,
but just
no.
not creating problems. He's not a
Right.
shit stirrer. He's the opposite of Christian Horner.
Yeah.
And so when he has his little quips about Carlos, it does make me question like, what is it that I like about Carlos? Or, like,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why I'm trusting this rookie so quickly, but
Because he just has that vibe.
he does. He has
Nicole
the trust.
and family raised him right.
Yeah, what's his dad's name?
I'm not sure, but I didn't want to exclude him from the conversation.
I don't know that.
I don't
Um,
either.
so then yeah, so that was the big shocker. Lewis was out in Q2, also like a kind of a shock, and Lewis was just like having a he's probably frustrated with his dad and frustrated with Christian Horner and frustrated with his
Right.
car and just everything's gone wrong for him. I wonder how his tequila sales have been going.
I think
I hope
really well. I
I
think the
hope
pop-up at Vegas
oh
caused a
that's
lot of
true.
buzz. People like love it.
That's true. I know I still haven't ordered it yet. Maybe we can I'll get that. I'll get on that. We have bigger things to worry about, like actually recording a podcast that
Hmm.
records.
Hmm.
Um uh Impressive performance from Yuki, qualifying P6,
Hmm.
best qualifying performance of his career thus far. Oscar also, as we previously mentioned, doesn't get into, bad beefs and came in P3. Lando had a little oopsie daisy.
Yeah, a little oopsies.
And he said in the interview after the race today, like they were asking him, like, what are you going to work on in the off season? And he said qualifying. Now, I don't know how that's possible to to work on in the off season, but anything's possible, I suppose.
Bad.
Um, Logan didn't even set a time.
No, he did not.
The silence is deafening.
It's
Um,
just so bad. Like
we'll get to Logan later.
yeah, I know. It's just too bad.
It's just too bad. It really is too bad. Charles Leclerc, P2, which is basically P1.
Yeah.
And and Max
Yeah.
got
But it's
pole.
honestly, it's not that P2 is the same as P1. It's just it has the same relevancy now.
Totally.
It holds the same weight.
And P1 has the same relevancy for Charles Leclerc as P2. They
That's what I
don't
mean.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the
Yeah.
same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Basically anything if you're
P1's
P1,
just like a little
P2,
extra credit,
totally.
but not it's the
It
same.
doesn't really matter.
You got an
Anything
A, but you got the bonus points right?
yes, exactly. Um Anything else from qualifying that you want to go over?
I don't believe Checo's time got deleted.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we
Because, big shock there. Like start
track
checks,
limit
but
checks.
yeah,
Wow.
it's a new one. It just kind of flew out.
We have
Um,
Checo, Clankers, Chanko, and checks.
we never talked about Chenko, and I'm not sure that it's worth discussing, but there
No, I
was
think it
a
is. I think it
okay.
is.
So if anyone's from, I don't even know what page posted this, but they were doing some interviews. It seemed like there was a pop-up like people were coming out of in Vegas and they were doing some interviews.
Why do I
And I
think
don't
that
know
was
who
like FanDuel? Was it FanDuel?
I think, yes, I do think it was FanDuel because they were talking
Okay.
about who people were betting for. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Jason Tardik, some of you may know him from his time on The Bachelorette. He was engaged to, not from that show, but then was engaged to Caitlin Bristow, who was also on The Bachelorette. He has like a finance podcast. Anyway, super nice guy. Actually, Zoe and I met him once.
We did.
Yeah. So he came to do a little show with Blake.
Whatever his name
Horseman.
is.
I can remember his last name. Anyway, so they're doing these like, on the street interviews of like who's gonna win or whatever. And then he runs out and he's just so earnest. Like, he's so excited
I
about
know.
everything. He's super sweet, but he's just like, Max for P1, baby. And then he's like, and P2, Chenko, baby. And I literally started sobbing, crying. And I just sent it to Zoe. I was like, who the hell is
And he said
Chenko?
it twice. He said Chenko
Twice
twice
with so much confidence,
with his
like
whole
from his
chest.
gut. Yeah, like he was so sure. And so in that moment, I was like, either he's incredibly misinformed or he also comes up with his own nicknames and he used it in the wrong place.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
so anyway, it was
So now
great. It was
Checo
really,
has become Chenko. Which is so funny because Checo is such an easy name. Like
yeah, I know.
Checo. It's not
Yeah,
complicated. But
no,
yet it was hilarious. We found it funny.
so funny.
Yeah, that was bad of Checo and
It was naughty,
Checo.
naughty boy.
And it's just I don't even know. I'm like fatigued also talking about Checo.
Yeah,
Or like his misgivings or wrongdoings or misfortunes, whatever the term I'm looking for is.
his
Um
inability to stay
his
between the lines.
his inability to say between the lines is I'm tired of talking about it for this
Yeah,
season. I'm sure I'll have a new spirit
sure.
about it in 2024.
Yeah. But right, yeah, it's pretty jarring like that it keeps happening and I'm over it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, to the race. Do you want to share, or do you want to wait to share your
No,
um
because whatever. I
yes.
didn't today's crazy, you guys. I slept through the race. I slept also through the time that I was supposed to arrive at Zoe's house to record the podcast. I don't know what happened. I had alarms set at 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. because the race was at 7 a.m. local time for us. I did not wake up for either of those alarms.
Hmm.
And then I woke up promptly at 10 a.m., even though I was supposed to be at Zoe's at like 9:30 or like right after the race. I was going to go over there. And then when I was trying to watch race highlights while I was getting ready, I realized that the only version of the race that recorded was the kids broadcast, which is like super sweet and cute, but like not the broadcast I was looking
Not,
for.
yeah.
So we watched highlights. I got caught up to speed, and this is the second time we've done this. So now I'm like really, I really got it together.
We're just going to go through the highlights. We're just going to go through the heavy hitters.
Great.
So, really, as you know, many people know, it was really about the battle between P2 for P2 in the constructors standings.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Ferrari? Is it going to be Mercedes? Both Carlos and Lewis qualify outside the top 10. So it's like, oh, that's not great. But George was P3? No, fourth. He started fourth. And
Oh, yes.
Charles started second. And it was just kind of like back and forth the whole race. Who has P2, who doesn't? They had like a live standings as it was
Hmm.
happening type of thing going on. I mean, Carlos was basically out of the race from the get-go and just like was on the weirdest strategy of all time and
Which came
had
as a
to
big
pit.
shock for everybody.
Yeah, and basically his whole strategy was wait for a safety car that might not ever come and didn't ever come. And so he had to pit on the last lap to get new tires because he used two sets of the same tire, but then he just ended up DNFing. So
Do we know why yet?
no, or I don't know why. There was a problem. So
Okay.
who
Well,
knows?
wasn't
I
it
don't
like the
know.
last lap too that he
Yeah,
DNF'd?
yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
So anyway, that was strange. And then Lewis was just kind of like he was around, but like not really doing anything crazy. Um, George asking Lewis about, or George asking his engineer about what's going on with Lewis, and his engineer being like, he's having a fight of his own, and George being like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. Where
Was
is
like
he?
the yeah, it was like the most relatable thing ever because it's just like it. I understand the engineer's perspective, like
Yes.
it doesn't matter what Lewis is doing because like it doesn't affect you, George, and you need to just like focus on your own race. But also, there's nothing more annoying than people being like than like not answering your question, like giving you some
Yeah.
sort of generic response.
Because you could have, I feel like they could have just been like, this is where he is, and there's nothing that we can do to help that right now. You need to just focus on you.
Yeah,
Because really, what's going to happen is George is going to keep going back and forth until he gets the answer that he wants. That's what we do.
right. And saying he's having a fight of his own is like very
Was it a fight of his own or a race of his own?
a fight of his own.
Hmm.
I
That's a
think I'm pretty sure.
specific word. That's specific
Yeah, so
language
that's it's
choice.
confusing. It's a confusing. It's
And it
giving
was a fight for
Ferrari.
P11. Yeah, it was a fight for P11 with another world champion, which is just not how this is supposed to
The
go.
but the like wording of it was very much question.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what are you actually trying to say
Statement.
here?
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, and then you had Charles Leclerc doing mental math, which is the first time I think he's ever really accomplished or tried to do that on the track.
Hmm. At
Um,
least for out loud that we heard.
as we've said, because typically he's just a follower. He's not a go-getter,
Hmm.
which is fine. But I mean, actually, probably not fine for
It's
him.
not fun
But
for me, but
it's not fine. But he realized when Checo got the penalty for running into Lando, he realized. So basically, if George was going to finish in P3, that was going to seal up P2 for Merck in the constructors. So Charles was like, I need to prevent George from being third in the race. So I'm going to let Checo pass me to be second, so that hopefully when the race ends and he gets his penalty, Checo is in third.
right.
I give up to second, and George is still in fourth. Well, he tried, he failed, but at least he tried.
Literally, that's Ferrari's season in a nutshell. They tried, they
Uh,
failed, but at least
but
they tried.
sometimes they don't try.
Okay. But
You
they would
know,
argue that they are, you know?
I know. I guess that's true. Maybe they try. I don't really know. It is what it is. But anyway, Merck ended up P2, and congrats to Merck. I suppose. Kind of crazy that they got second without a win.
Yeah.
Like that's
But
kind of
it's,
crazy.
it's not as crazy as Williams getting
What do you mean?
P7
Oh my God,
by
yeah,
himself.
yeah. So AlphaTauri try as they might, could not close the gap to Williams. I think they were down seven
To Alex
points
Albon.
to Alex Albon, and Hannah and I realized that Alex Albon has scored 26 of the 27 points that Williams has scored, and Alex alone would have gotten them P7. Um, which leads us to Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
Um,
Logie
now
Sarge, is that what you called him earlier? Logie Sarge.
Logie
Yeah.
Sarge. James Owls said, what did he say? He's in our academy. He'll always be a part of our academy. He was asked this after the race, like, what's Logan's future? He basically was like, well, Logan will always be a part of our academy. We haven't made a decision about Logan's future yet. But like we're happy with like what he did this year or something to that effect, which it's like,
And we'll always support him or whatever.
yeah. What do
I think he broke up with him on national television.
you do? You
Well,
think it's
I mean,
over?
I look, sometimes these interviews happens and the principal like, and I know this situation is arguably different, right? Than like Checo being actively in a contract and Christian Horner's having to say nothing's going on with Checo.
Yeah.
And obviously nothing did this year. Like who knows what's going to happen next year, whatever. With Logan, it's still like a PC answer. Like it's not a yes, it's not a
It
no.
is
But to
PC.
me, it's also like when you say he'll always be in our academy, that to me says he will always be near, but he will not be in this seat. Like that's how I
Mm,
interpreted it. Whereas like if, we're still working on negotiations for next year, but we're really proud of what Logan, we're really proud of what Logan did this year and we're excited to keep working together is the same answer in a way. And it's not a confirmation because you would still be working together as Team Williams if he's in your academy somewhere, but it
sure.
makes it seem like he's still keeping his seat.
Yeah.
I feel like the way that he answered it does not bode well for Logan. And you know what? Quite honestly, like, I think Logan would be really good in like, I know it's like so crappy to like come up to F1 and like have a season like this because it's like all you've ever wanted. But I also just like it can't be enjoyable for him. I feel like he got brought up too early
Totally.
or something. And like, I just feel like he could really thrive in a different series. And it's just a bummer.
But see, part of the reason why I think he's going to get another seat is because of the fact that he was brought up so early and they've acknowledged that. Like part of me is
Yeah,
like, why would you give him this seat knowing that it's probably too soon and then after a season be
sure.
like, I mean, we've said this before too, like Logan is not a crasher. He's not someone that's like going to
Right.
cause a bunch of incidents. He's not Latifi. He's not Mazepin. Sometimes I wish he was, honestly, because I'm
Yeah.
like today, no DNS. I'd be curious to know. I feel like we had a lot of races this season without anybody retiring. And I think part of that
Yeah.
is the fact that like the reliability is so much better these days with these cars, but also
Yeah.
because the drivers are pretty good at keeping it clean and not like running into each other.
Yeah.
Um, but you almost wish he would like
Because
be a
at least
little
it would
bit more,
explain why his stats look like they looked, like never
yeah,
qualifying above Alex, never, having 1 point on a technicality. And I don't look, Formula One is so much about technicalities. I don't mean to like discredit the point that he got. Like that's exciting and whatever, but like it was not based on his skill level on the
totally.
track. It was based on, and like, yeah, he did put himself in a place that when that, technicality did come into play, he was the next in line, and that's great.
Right.
But, I mean, it's still, I don't know, it's just a hard one for me. But I also think James is
I
just so, like, everyone makes mistakes or like misspeaks in some way, but James is so thoughtful and articulate when he
mm,
talks that
he
to me, it
is.
feels like a very intentional way he said it that leaves
Mm,
room for, in my mind, it leaves an opening for someone else. Like, I think it would be great if Logan stayed and like had a second chance,
yeah.
but I also feel like he left the door open for new
Well,
friends.
and also as we've said too, like Alf or Williams is not going to be fighting for the top three of the constructors next year. Like, I mean,
Right.
they might have a nice jump forward, but it's all going
Sure.
to be incremental. The difference between finishing P6 and P5 could be like 5 points, or even finishing seventh and sixth. And when you only have one person scoring your points, like that makes a big difference. Now, the where I'm like a little bit, I'm not so sure is so I brought up Felipe Drugovich, and did he impress Williams this weekend? Do they want to give him a shot? But like, have we not learned anything about like a rookie showing like one good performance and then being like, this person's great? But I know it's like
Mm-hmm.
Liam Lawson, he was great.
Right.
It's always going to be a risk. My thing is, why would you replace a rookie with another rookie? I guess is what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Especially because whoever's coming, if they do bring a rookie in, they're a rookie. Like, they don't know these people. Like, they're going to have to reacclimate
Starting
also. Like,
all
the
over
team has
again.
to reacclimate, the
Yeah.
driver has to reacclimate. So in a
Yeah.
way, it's like you can kind of get all that out of the way and just really work on like development with Logan. And I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, I think I think he gets ragged on all the time. I've been guilty of ragging on him. Like,
I
I
mean,
understand. I know.
yeah.
I was just trying to leave you out of it,
I have
But
not
I
been the
do. I,
kindest to
I
him.
think in a way, like, now that we keep talking it out, like, I do. I would like to for him to have the opportunity to like turn it around, and
Yes.
I think it's a. I think Williams is a team different than Red Bull that would potentially have a little bit more patience
Hmm.
to allow one
Yeah.
more year. So
Yeah. Well, they're also not like, well, yeah. I mean, it's also not like the Red Bull senior team where it's like, we need you to score
right.
points or else like we're not going to get P1 in the constructors or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
And like, not that this should be his goal, but like, literally any amount of points next year would be better than this year. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
you don't want it to
Yes.
be like, well, we just need you to come back in and get 5 points for the season. Like, that's obviously not a goal
No.
that's like worth setting. But I do think that I mean, he's had a lot of good moments. It just hasn't translated on race day, really. Um,
Yeah. I
so
mean, he
I don't
had
know.
that one good qualifying in Vegas.
Yeah, I guess it was just that one.
I mean, he scored points in
Well, and
Austin.
like, in like today or in quali, I felt like the
Yeah. He
track
had good
limits screwed him. I mean,
laps.
I thought he was doing well,
Yeah.
and then it was like, but he took after Checo and didn't stay where he's supposed to.
And that I think you can, I mean, not so much the Checo part of it, but that stuff you can be like, well, he's just a rookie. Like he's figuring out, like these are tracks he maybe doesn't know as well, obviously, as other drivers. Like he has learning left to do. I don't know. I I think he'll keep his seat because I'm just like not convinced anybody else is going to be better. But the James quotes did make me be like, that's interesting.
It's worded strange.
Worded very strange, but congrats to them for P7. That's a big. They were last
Yeah.
year. Now they're P7, so like, good for them. Um, Speaking of AlphaTauri, who they were fighting, great race by Yuki. Franz Toast's last race.
Yes. French
Pour
toast.
one out for French Toast, who's been a real one. Started out a lot of drivers' careers at the Red Bull Junior team because they've been a thousand different names. But uh, Sebastian Vettel started his career with Franz, Max, Daniel, Carlos Sainz, Pierre, Yuki. Really believed in Yuki when no one else would. We didn't even talk
I
about
know.
Yuki's helmet.
So
So
cute.
sweet. So cute. Very,
So
very sweet.
nice.
Yeah.
Like, and I just like he loves him so much. It's so cute.
You can tell that like Yuki is kind of like I think he was like a diamond in the rough. He was the epitome of a
Yeah.
diamond in the rough. And I think a lot of people like Helmut Marko and others were like, not maybe like the nicest or most supportive to Yuki initially. And I feel like Franz was always like, Yuki, calm
Yeah.
down.
Relax. It's gonna be fine. I also think I did not realize until I listened to Christian on Armchair Expert or F1 with DRS, whatever it was, that when he came to learn English, first of all, I don't know when that was. Like, I don't know how old Yuki was when he moved. He didn't move to Italy to learn English. He came
No, he
with,
moved. Well, he came to London or like England to race as a kid, like when he was probably a teenager, preteen,
okay.
teenager.
But that because of like who he was around, he thought like motherfucker was just like something you call people. Like he did not understand. And I love that. And honestly, it just like it makes so much sense that he
Yeah.
thinks that's just like it's like saying dude or something or mate. It's just like,
Right.
come on,
Well,
motherfucker,
I,
It's like, oh,
I
okay.
I think in Drive to Survive they talk about how like he learned English around like a bunch of English mechanics.
Yeah,
Like that's how you like if that's how you're learning English, like your vocabulary is going to be skewed a certain way.
sure. It's very
So
funny.
it is pretty funny. I mean, and I do wonder, a part of me always wonders like what, because like he's so like the Japanese culture, it's like so much about like respect and like
Hmm.
they're often very like soft spoken. And I'm not saying Yuki's not respectful. Like you can tell he is, but
Yeah,
I just wonder what they think about Yuki's antics.
it would be curious.
It's very interesting. So anyway, sad to see Franz leave, but hope he enjoys his retirement and has a nice rest and eat some French toast.
Yeah. Are we gonna talk about the other thing with Yuki?
Oh yeah, we will. Yeah,
Okay. I couldn't
it's my
remember
fan.
we
It's my
where
fan.
we that's right. Okay,
Um,
continue.
uh, the Lando and Checo incident. Checo running into Lando, Checo thinking it was Lando's fault, vice versa.
Mm.
Checo gets a penalty. And again, I'm fatigued by the Checo discussion, but you know,
Well, we could
it
talk
is
about Lando's outfit in the paddock.
oh, the robe.
That was such an interesting move. I
That's a nice
I
way of putting it.
I just was I was too stunned to speak. I was just like, oh wow.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It's
I
just
wouldn't.
funny because like I like it seems very Lando. I think the whole thing was very funny, but all these boys, with the exception of Daniel when he's about to have like a merch drop, they show up in their uniforms except for Lewis. And so for Lando to pick this
Joe,
outfit, true. I feel like I don't see a lot of pictures of Joe. I don't know if that's just my news feed and like I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
don't
I feel like he
see
goes very under the radar.
yeah, but that's a fair point. I just don't see it. Like my news feed is just like, you know, sponsor
Yeah,
labels and then Lewis in whatever he's wearing.
yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
and then
Lando
Lando.
sometimes Lando sometimes comes to the track on media day like in a fit.
For sure. They're just this one was
Not like that.
unexpected.
Not like that. Yeah, so that was funny. That was good.
Yeah.
At first I was confused. I thought he was dressing up as a priest. And then I like it like clicked and I was like, oh yeah, we're in Abu Dhabi. Like,
Right, right, right.
it took me a while to get there.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, Lando was having he was in a very sassy mood. I think he is also fatigued by everything and it's
Yeah.
like, I'm finished.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Um, Needing a rest. Um, so this is also the first podium or first season that a British national anthem has not been played on the podium
Yes.
um, by either the team that won or the driver that won
Crazy.
since 1952, which is pretty crazy. I mean, we have heard the Dutch anthem 19 times.
I don't know the words, but I can hum the whole thing.
19 times, which is
Is that it?
actually, yeah,
We've heard
that's
it more
it.
than 19 times. No, because
I know. I mean, in
who you
Zandvoort,
mean from
yeah,
the podium?
from the podium.
Did they play
Yeah,
a double at the Oh no, because it's never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
no, Austrian.
Yeah, no.
Um,
That's
yeah,
why I
we've
said
heard.
never mind.
I know, no, I know, but I'm just clarifying for the listeners. Um, and we've heard the Italian anthem once, the Spanish anthem once, the Mexican anthem twice.
Hmm.
That's it. And like, when are we gonna hear the American anthem?
I was just thinking about that because the national anthem at Coda this year was
So
genuinely
good.
one of the most beautiful versions of it I've ever heard. It's a very hard song to sing, and a lot of people don't do it well. You know who does do it well? Whoever did it at Coda, and Demi Lovato. She nails it. She's nailed it twice. There
She
was a
has
baseball
nailed
game
it.
and a football game that I saw her do it at. So good.
And she did it
Um,
at the World Series when Kansas City
yes.
won.
I think that's the baseball game I'm referring to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot it,
Um,
its significance.
I am wondering, have they played the British national anthem? I know George won last year. It must have been. I was gonna say, I wonder if that was before or after the Queen died.
It was after.
So it was God Save the King.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Um,
Right? It was after,
it
wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
Because
It was.
I remember us talking about like that, how wild it is to like all of a sudden. I mean, I know it's just,
King or Queen.
one word change, but to have your national anthem have to change
Well,
pronoun, like this is crazy.
it was the same time as the World Cup and
Ah,
last year. And the England team players, there were a couple that said Queen instead of King.
of course they did. They've been saying it their
Yeah.
entire, literally their whole
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, their parents' whole life too.
Yeah.
Um why do we get I want to hear next year, I want to hear the Australian national anthem on that podium. I don't care which one it is, but I want to hear that national anthem.
It's funny because you said Australia and I heard Austrian and I was like, we have. And then
Australian. Australian and British, por favor. And Monegasque.
ooh, wow. Next year's
That's what
shaking up to be crazy.
what do you want to hear next year, Hannah?
All of those.
Okay. You also probably want to hear, I'm trying to think of who else. Well, you've already heard enough Dutch. You've heard
Yeah,
enough Dutch for one lifetime,
genuinely.
literally. Okay, anything else? I guess great. I think I already talked about Yuki winning driver of the day, or I don't know if I did, but Yuki won driver of the day. So
Yeah.
congratulations to Yuki. Michael Italiano is leaving Formula One, which is
Curious.
interesting. He announced on Instagram earlier today or later today after the race that he is pursuing something outside of Formula One. So curious to see who Yuki's trainer will be next year. Will he be able to motivate Yuki to work out?
Yes.
It's just, it's interesting.
It just, it presents lots of questions.
Yeah. It presents lots of questions that I'm very curious about. And
Yeah.
that
I
we're
think I get the impression
yeah.
that it maybe wasn't his choice.
Yeah. Or it was his choice, but he made the choice because he was just like,
Because
I need to, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm personally glad for Australia. Um, we don't want tension. We need our boy to do well with no distractions.
Totally. Totally. So anyway, no, go ahead. Were you gonna say
No,
something?
I was just no, I don't know why I'm dancing around it like anyone of significance. Like Daniel's gonna hear me talking shit about his old friend. I'm
Well, he
like trying to
might,
be
Hannah.
so
You
like
never know.
I
Well,
know I'm just
it's
trying to
because
be
we don't
so
want to
like
create,
neutral about
we
it.
don't
I know
want to
because
start rumors.
I know, but we start rumors on our own, just the two of us, and sometimes
I mean, anyone that knows anything about Formula One that follows Formula One knows there's
yeah,
something that happened between Michael and Daniel
yeah.
over the course of the last year, which is sad because they've been friends since they were kids.
Excuse
And
me.
that's sad for
Yeah, it's
friends to not
horrible.
be friends anymore. Um, and we don't know why they're not friends
Mm,
anymore.
no,
But
but if I would
anyway,
like to, so if you know, let me know
yeah, DM us.
because I'm a
Daniel, if you're listening,
nosy bitch.
DM us. Okay, anything else from the race before we get to the last step?
Are we going into the pyramid now?
Oh, should we save Last Supper then?
Last Supper. I didn't hear what you said. I thought you said the last of it.
No, the Last
I
Supper.
did
But
want
I
to.
think we should save it. I think yeah. Let's do our pyramid first, and then let's go
Okay,
into
but
the
one thing
last.
that I was going to say is, and this might be this is probably a me problem.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that Alfa Romeo is going
No more
away at the
Sauber.
end of this season.
They're not going away. Sauber's going away, right?
Well, I don't think so. I think Sauber is staying and Alfa Romeo is
Oh,
going away.
yes. I think you're right.
I was
I
like,
think you're
God.
right,
Well,
right?
I was looking on Instagram and
Hold on. Let's check this.
okay, go to Alfa Romeo's Instagram because I think they
Okay.
posted something.
Okay. People are probably like, you dumb
Yeah, they're
idiots.
yelling. Yeah, you can yell at your radio. It's fine. Your radio, Jesus, whatever.
You're,
I mean, I guess it's what it's called, but
is it?
I'm in the car.
Oh, well, they might be listening through their headphones.
Yeah.
You never know. Okay. Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo. Um, oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. At the season finale in Abu Dhabi, we said goodbye to our partners at Alfa Romeo. Yeah, finished.
Fascinating. So
Yeah.
it's just that's the other thing. There's so many like
Oh yeah, because it's going to be Audi's going to be
Audi.
Sauber. Was they're partnering? Yeah.
Okay, and that's gonna be next year or
No,
2025 or 6 or 7 or 8.
I think
I fucking sometimes the sport just like what?
I thought it
What
was
are the names gonna
25,
be?
but I could be wrong.
So okay, well,
We'll find out.
we'll have 2 new team names next year
Yeah, I
just to
guess
keep things
so.
simple and uncomplicated.
Yeah,
Well, it can't
we're
be called
losing
Alfa
the
Romeo if they're not a
we're
partner
losing the two
anymore.
alphas. The alphas are out.
But it was so easy to refer to them that way.
No more Alpha Ramiro. Sad.
Only
Uh,
Raging Bulls.
oh, racing.
I know. You
You
said
said
Alfa
rage.
Romero, and so I said Raging Bulls.
I thought you were saying that's the team name, Raging
No, I was
Bulls.
making a funny.
I'm sorry.
Someone laughed, just not you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, pyramid,
Forgive you.
pyramid, pyramid. Bottom of
Okay.
the pyramid. First position. Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Bad weekend. I don't know
Fatigued by
what's going
him.
on. Fatigue. I don't know what's going on. Let me know.
Mm.
I'm curious if other people are feeling this way about Carlos. Like, I would like to know. And also it might have something to do with, and this is no like nothing. I don't think it actually is, but like I'm just getting a lot more Issa content on my TikTok feed,
She's such a queen.
and I don't know what it's like subconsciously. I'm
I
like,
know what you mean because every time I see her, I'm just like, he messed up.
yeah, or maybe he didn't, but like,
No, no,
I don't
he
know.
messed up. Yeah, we do.
Okay. Um, anyway, it just wasn't a great it wasn't a great time for him this
No.
weekend. And I want to clarify too. We like Carlos Sainz. We're Carlos Sainz fans.
Oh, yeah.
We like Carlos
I
Sainz.
don't feel the
So
same fatigue you feel. I just understand what you're saying.
yeah, thank you. But yeah, bad weekend. Couldn't get in the points, which maybe would have helped his team get P2 in the standings. So just not to put the blame
Yeah.
on Carlos, because like there's plenty of
No, no,
points that
no.
Charles Leclerc tossed away to no fault of his own this season that maybe would have. That's the other thing. Like if Charlotte just like kept the car on the track, or like didn't have a few DNFs that he had, they
Yeah.
would
If you
get
didn't have to hike back to the garage.
they would have gotten P2 no problem.
Did I tell you
Okay.
that my mom, when I talk about races and I say Charles, she goes, "Oh, is that the one that had to go on the hike?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That's the hike from Brazil for those who forgot. Second at the bottom is Alpine.
yeah,
It's just, Pierre and Esteban didn't have a great race. Esteban was sick this week. He didn't
that's right. I forgot
show
about that.
up to media day. Pierre was mad about Alpine favoring Esteban in the race. I think something's going to happen next year. And maybe it will never happen. Like maybe they'll just get through this, they'll be fine forever. But I just feel like
Mhm.
we're heading towards a something.
Yeah,
When they're fighting for wins and stuff, if they
yeah,
are ever fighting for wins, that's when things are going to get a little
it's gonna
ugly.
get wild.
Yeah. And then the final spot is Haas, just because it's been bad.
It really, really not good.
P10 in the standings, just absolutely nowhere. When was the last time they even got points?
I
I couldn't
genuinely
tell
don't
you.
know, but I do
I couldn't tell
appreciate
you.
you asking me, thinking that I might.
I don't know. You're the Haas fan here. You might have some idea.
Yeah, but no, I
What?
mean, no. I haven't got a clue.
Okay. Do you want to take a guess?
No, I feel like it was so long ago.
Shoot,
Austin.
I can't even get the like, um, it doesn't matter. I don't think it was Austin. I think it was even before
I
that.
know.
Um, okay, middle of the pyramid, we have Mercedes. You know, I think they got a podium. They finished P2 in the standings. Was this like the season of their dreams? Absolutely not. Didn't get a win at all this season. Still haven't seen Lewis Hamilton win, which is crazy.
No, only a poll.
Only one freaking pole. And then Williams, not a great race again, didn't get points, but got P2 in this, or P7, P2, got P7 in the standings, which,
Hmm.
really we should be giving that credit to Alex Albon. So congratulations to Alex.
Yeah.
And then the final, top of the pyramid is Max Verstappen because it has to be Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Um, he, I mean, that's just continued to crush
He's
it.
insane.
What else is there to say? He hasn't DNF since Australia 2022. So
Hmm.
almost two, when the season starts up again, it'll have almost been 2 years since his last DNF, which is crazy.
Does that mean
You
we've never
you
seen him DNF?
you haven't.
That's
I was just gonna
crazy.
say you haven't
Because
because
I was anytime anyone's talked about Max DNFing, because there was at one point there was a record that like Max wins unless he DNFs or
yeah,
something like that. Not wins,
yeah,
but gets on the podium unless he DNFs. And I was like, when did he do that? Like, never
yeah.
happened.
Because I think I watched 3 races. I started the 2022 season like when it started, and
Hmm.
Hannah wasn't a fan at that point. And Max DNF'd in the very first race in Bahrain. He won in Saudi Arabia, and then he DNF'd in the very next race in Australia. So he had two DNFs in 3 races, which is crazy.
That's
So I was
crazy.
like, Max DNFs a lot, and then he
Yeah.
never DNF'd again. So yeah, you've never seen Max DNF.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, there's
Holy
always next
shit.
year.
There's always next year. Not that I necessarily want him to DNF, but
Of
like
course.
it would make things interesting.
Yeah, it would.
Why can't he have like the formation lap problem?
Because Red Bull is
I
good.
know, but Yuki had it with a Honda engine.
I can't speak to any of that. I think we all know there's some mischief going on, like there was a hex put on someone or someone paid someone. Look, I don't know. It's
Voodoo
dusted
doll.
with magic. Yeah.
Voodoo doll. Um, okay, let's get to our fan info and then we'll do the Last Supper as like the final
Okay.
capper. Plus, I think we have some questions from people. I asked them to send in some fun questions to like, liven up the episode.
Yeah. So
Um,
I want you to know, like, I had fallen asleep watching the Chiefs game, and I woke up, and I guess my phone was on Do Not Disturb, which I don't remember doing. And I went to Instagram first, and I found out that it didn't record
um,
via Instagram stories, and then I was like, okay, I bet she probably texted me. Anyway, it's just funny. So yes, I saw the question box, and I'm excited to see what people asked
okay, what's your foe?
today. No, I was just earlier when we recorded, my foe was that I didn't wake up, which I did tell that story earlier, so I was a little
Hmm.
frazzled. And then we'll just continue to add on that it was too bad that we didn't record, but there's a lot of stuff we missed earlier. I feel like I think if I'm honest, the hardest thing is like I think this has been really fun and great, but I don't love not being in the same room with you.
I know it's hard.
It
It's
feels
hard.
sad. But shout out to technology for screwing us over and then allowing us to, hit redo.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we definitely don't hit the same when we're as if we're in person, and like that's
no,
just
but
facts. But like we do what we have to do to get the
exactly.
content out, and so like this is just how it's going to have to be. It won't always be this way, which is
No,
good.
yeah.
Um,
It's never been
my
this way before. So that's
It's never
cool.
been this way. Exactly. My foe is that this was the final race of the George T pose in the intro, and like, will we ever get that kind of moment ever again? I'm not so sure. Who can
I'm
we
not so
who
sure
can
either,
we
but we should.
who can we count on next season to bring it in the intro? Like, who's going to give us something that is going to make us? Can we rely on George again?
In a way, it's become George is very smart. And I think this whole meme thing has become enough of a part of his brand. Now, here's the problem. What we can't have him do is plan it with
He can't.
like, you can't. it's memeable because it happened on accident. And
Yes.
so I don't want him to go in with this like list of poses that could be funny enough to be a meme. But if I'm honest, like all I want is with his new boy band hair for him to do not quite as quick and dramatic, but the look over the shoulder like he did during
Turn
the
to
driver's
camera.
parade. And
Yeah.
I think that that could be sufficient.
Yeah, because we don't want him to become self-aware, too
Correct.
self-aware. Because
Yeah.
that's when when anyone becomes
It
too
gets stale.
self-aware about the bit's done. The bit's over. Like,
Yeah.
what did we just, something happened within Formula One. Oh, maybe it was the Taylor Swift stuff, like the Taylor Swift Fernando Alonso stuff that happened earlier in the season. And it was like, once it was like, it was funny initially, like, haha. And then it just became like, okay, it's done now. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's like playing into it too much that it's not even
Well,
funny
yeah, it was
anymore.
like what also when the NFL took it over, it was like dial
Shut
it
up.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're annoying everyone, including the
And it's just like
Swifties.
these boomer, no offense
Yeah.
to boomer dads out there, but like my dad is one of them, but like a boomer dad being like, this would be funny. And, it's
It
not.
wasn't.
And that's okay. So anyway, I'm gonna miss that George pose.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, it'll be everywhere for all time.
it will. We just won't see it every week. I'm kind of hoping that like I mean, I was gonna say Daniel, but I feel like Daniel won't. I feel like he's like too he's not that kind of guy.
No, he's just a
Yeah.
smiler.
Yeah. Smiler or just like simple
Hmm.
standard.
Most of
Maybe
them are
Lando.
like yeah. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think who else. Charles is just really funny. How
Because
he's
he like
just, isn't
looks
he the one
down.
like lean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a little, but that's what kind of what I'm looking for from George next season.
Totally. But see, that's the difference though. Because if George does it, it's funny. If Charles does it, it's not funny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Right.
George is just inherently funny.
Yeah.
So I guess anything he
Well, I'm
does will
looking
make us
forward to what
laugh.
they come up with, but
Me
I hope
too.
he
Me too.
doesn't like try too hard, because then it won't be
Totally.
funny.
Okay, fan.
Oh, Laura and Kevin Magnuson, she's just so cute.
So cute. Love her putting on his little gloves,
Yeah, and like putting
pushing down
his
the helmet.
shield at. Oh, it's just so
Yeah.
sweet. She's so
Yeah. I hope
little.
I know she is so small. Well, she was a preemie. She was
Oh,
born
that's right.
premature. Um,
She's just the
uh,
cutest.
I hope she becomes a Formula One driver.
Same.
I mean, his dad was a Formula One driver.
Hmm.
So
I hope
continue the
she.
legacy.
I hope she, if she
Wants to be.
wants to be a Formula One driver, she becomes one.
Totally. I
Hmm.
completely agree. Oh wait, we didn't even talk about because I felt like you had a good take about the
The partners.
yes.
Okay, I was actually trying to figure out how to push it in earlier. So I'm glad we've circled back to it because I really wanted to discuss that. Um, so I felt like, and I can't remember how it came up when we were first talking about it, but
You just brought it up out of nowhere. You were like, I had to like make you say it
oh
because
no,
you're like,
because
this
we were
has nothing.
talking about no, we were talking about this on our this is a good we were talking about on our the other episode that we recorded because we
Oh,
were talking about Thirsty Thursday and then I thought about
oh,
Kika and then okay
oh.
anyway so when they pan over people in the garage and like if they're someone of significance rather than just like a fan who's paid to be there they like put the little ticker to show you their name and what they do and I guess have just never like recognized that they've done this before if they've done it, but they highlighted is it Alexandra? I don't know why I
Yeah,
always forget. Okay.
Alexandra. Hmm.
So Charles's girlfriend, or excuse me, partner, because I don't know. They might just be talking. Who really knows? But they put her face up, and under it was just like her name, and then Charles Leclerc's partner. And I was like, is that all she is? Like, she doesn't do anything else. And then they cut to Lily. And before they put the ticker up, I got so mad internally. I was like, if they don't put that she's a golfer, I'm going to lose my shit. And they did. So good
They
for
did.
them. And
They
then they
did.
said, comma, Alex Albon's partner. And it just made me curious for a few reasons. One, what does Alexandra do?
Mhm.
What is her?
I think
And
she's
like,
a
not
student. Like
that's
I
I
think
think
she's in
actually that's correct.
college.
So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because that's fine. But it also just me wonder, like, at what stage in the relationship of a driver are we allowed to put on the ticker that this person's their
I
partner?
wonder if it's like they have to be approved, like it has to be approved.
That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering too. I'm like,
Because like I feel like there's
because
some people we never see
yeah,
on
or like,
TV.
because I think we've seen Tiffany. I know we've
Yes.
seen Rebecca in the background of stuff, but I don't know if she's
She's
ever
been
had the
highlighted.
ticker.
Yeah,
She
I
has,
know. No,
or you don't know?
I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know.
And then I can't think of anybody. I mean, obviously Kelly, but everyone, I mean,
That's true. And actually, I think hers does say model, or maybe it doesn't say model, but I feel like hers says something else. Maybe it
does
says
it
just
also say daughter of Nelson and then,
Nelson PK.
yeah, and then partner of Max?
I don't
That
know.
would be the longest ticker ever.
Well, it's like Heidi. Heidi's would be long too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it would.
Yeah.
So anyway, it just got me thinking. I just thought it was curious, and I didn't know if it's like the drivers have to approve it, or like maybe once the drivers feature them on their own personal page. Because
Mm.
in my mind, even as like a fan and understanding, like the only person that I felt like was a totally safe putting partner next to was Lily. I mean, I think
Or
arguably it's safe for Charles and Alexandra, but it just felt weird
or who like if someone's married.
for sure. I
Yeah.
just meant like in that moment when they showed the two on the screen, like if
Yes.
I only
Yes.
wasn't petrified about. And the other thing that's got to be so weird is all the feeds that are in the garage when it's happening. Like, you're on TV,
I know.
like you can see it, and you're
Well,
like,
there was that
I
one
don't,
race where Kika was like looking and she just goes like, like waves, like, because it's
yeah,
like, I see you, like,
yeah,
hi.
hi. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing was so weird. And I was like, in that moment, I think it was her face when it was happening. Cause I think she saw the camera, but they can be much further away. Like, I don't think they're always right up in your face. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like they are. So I
Yeah.
don't think until she saw the feed, she realized her face was on. And she kind of looked like she saw a ghost. And I was like, oh, someone
I
didn't
feel like
approve this.
I don't know. I obviously don't know anything about her really, but I get the sense she's like a little bit shy.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas like some other people are probably more comfortable.
Well, and I mean, she went from being a student to being paparazzied in LA. So, it's a big
So true.
transition.
Fan fiction. Fan fiction.
Totally. Totally. I've read that scene in many a story, you know. Oh my God, the
Totally.
paparazzi found us.
Yeah. How funny. Um, foe. No, fan. My fan.
Yeah.
Which I'm sad that we're not getting the authentic reaction, but
Well, you'll see for our listeners, you will see the authentic reaction sans sound on the
yeah, maybe
internet.
I should clip this. But I told Hannah this morning, my fan is that Yuki Tsunoda got to meet his dad, his hero, Jason Statham. And I broke the news to Hannah
I'm
this
actually maybe
morning
going to start
when
crying.
when we recorded. I was like, you'll not guess, like you won't guess who Yuki met. And you're like, who? And I said Jason Statham, and Hannah literally starts to cry.
I'm crying again.
And she was
I
like,
don't
I
know.
don't know
I don't
why
even know what's
I'm
going
so
on.
emo about it. But it
I
was
just was
really
thrilled.
when I woke up this morning and I turned on my phone, was the first like image that popped up on my Instagram feed. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Like I was just
Yeah.
so happy for him
Very
because we
exciting.
know how much Yuki loves Jason Statham, which is so funny just on that alone. Like it's just kind of random. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it's not that random, but it's kind of random.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jason showed up for Yuki was
Very cute.
just great. And
Yeah, and
I'm just
I
happy for him.
obviously, due to my all my struggles this morning, I didn't look at any content
Mm-mm,
before I went over. So,
right.
and I'm glad I didn't because
I know. It was a great reaction. It was
yeah,
amazing. Loved it. Loved the video of him meeting him. He was so shocked. And
yeah,
I hope that like Jason gets to I hope he'll put Yuki in like the background of one of his movies. Like now
that would be
that the
so fun.
connection has been made and like he knows how much he loves, like have them in a car scene or something.
Yeah.
Why
How
not?
hilarious for like, Jason's running from something serious, something's exploding in the
Yes.
background, a car whips around and Yuki's
I
driving.
mean, he's literally a professional driver. You wouldn't have to get like he could be approved as like a stunt driver. I have to assume
Well, I think
like
the
to
set
do
might, but I don't know if F1 will.
Yeah, I
From,
guess.
like it will,
A
like, if
safety
I don't know if
perspective.
Christian or the new Franz Toast will be like chill with that before. We'll see.
Totally. Well, I hope for his sake he gets to do it.
Me too.
Because I think it's probably now one of his dreams, along with the opening up the restaurant.
Well, now that they're friends.
Totally. Now that
Mm.
they're father son.
Yeah,
Um,
I did get the impression that this was Jason's first Formula One race, and he's not
oh yeah,
familiar with. Uh, but
but that's
that
quite a
kind of
long
makes it
way to
even
go.
better. Well, doesn't he live in Dubai?
Does he?
I don't know. He
Oh,
might.
he might.
I don't even know where that came from.
Oh, okay. Um, well, if he whatever the case, it was a nice gesture, and
It was
I'm
fantastic.
sure
Brought
I'm
me to
sure
tears, quite
literally.
literally.
Okay, the Last Supper image.
Yeah.
So today I get back home and I get on my phone and I'm like, oh my God,
And
there's
quite
that
recently, we
same.
had talked about like, what a bummer no one's retiring. Would love another dinner
We
photo.
did. And I get on my Instagram and thank you to Joe. Joe's the one that posted this photo dump with this photo in it. But I was like,
Hidden.
I know that restaurant. I'll know those walls anywhere. And
Yep.
it has to be the same table. It has to be the
It's
same exact room.
absolutely the same room. I'm so glad you said that because I was going to ask. I was like, do you think it's the same place? It's the same place.
Yeah. I mean, the table is shortened, but it's the same room. We have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8,
12?
10, 11 drivers. Someone's taken the photo. We don't know who that person is. I have to
Yeah.
imagine it is a waiter or something.
Yeah, but there's a seat. The empty seat appears to have had someone sitting there.
Well, there's no plate.
There
There's no
wasn't like a
plate.
bowl in front of it.
There's a bowl and like a looks like something on it, but it may have been like Lewis's bowl. It doesn't look like it was a
Heard.
there and there's no utensils.
Got it. Okay.
So I
So it's a
really think it
server.
was an empty seat. Um yeah,
Well,
and
you'd
someone
hope
said,
they didn't make some other driver take the photo or that they're in the bathroom
oh,
when the photo's taking place.
Chanko.
Uh,
No, I'm just kidding. No, someone said that of course Lance has wanted to sit across from the seat without anyone there because Lance is our introverted king, and I can relate to
yeah.
that. And he doesn't love to be in the center of the all the attention. But let's just go down this
Yeah.
seating chart. Let's just break it down, okay? So from closest, we're gonna go down the line on each end. So this is the left side of the table. You have Lance Stroll next to
He's
Pierre
the closest to
Gasly.
the photographer,
He's the
if you
closest to the
haven't seen it.
photographer. Pierre Gasly next to Lance. Kind of surprising.
Big question mark on that one.
Big question mark. Next to him is Carlos Sainz. Okay. Next to Carlos, we have George Russell. Next to George, Alex Albon. And next to Alex, on the end of the table, Daniel Ricciardo. Interesting placement there.
I'm so glad you pointed that out because Daniel absolutely should be in the middle of all tables he's sitting at.
100%. I think I brought this up to you before, but there's this Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry David goes to a dinner party,
Mhm.
and he's talking about how he like doesn't want this certain person sitting in the middle of the table because they're
Yeah.
not like a facilitator of conversation. And he's
Right.
like, the point of the person in the middle is that you are leading conversation back and forth. Like there's a certain kind of person that has to sit in the middle of the table. Now, I do think George, Carlos, Pierre, Alex, they are facilitators of
Sure.
conversation, but Daniel is the ultimate facilitator.
Facilitator.
So, but maybe he wanted to be off on his own little corner because across from Daniel, you have Valtteri. So maybe they were just having a little
Chit chat.
yeah,
Talking
bro
about how the liquor
time.
business is doing. Maybe Daniel's interested in how his wine's doing.
Exactly. Maybe they're talking about, maybe Valtteri's going to Australia for the holidays
Cute.
with Tiffany, like maybe there's some of that conversation. Okay, next to Valtteri is Joe, which makes sense. Teammates. Next to Joe, Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
Next to Yuki, Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
And next to Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton. Um, Thoughts, feelings? What did you think of
Pretty
this picture?
interesting. First of all, I love that they've gone back to dinner. I have a couple questions
Me too.
about who organized.
Totally.
Is this genuine, or did you realize that it's really good marketing, or both?
But it's
I think
interesting
it's
to
the
me.
first.
Yeah, because this was totally like one person posted. It wasn't like with the Seb dinner. It was like everybody posted those photos. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas this is like
Like it
one
almost
person
makes you wonder
posted
if
it.
they've done this every single year and like just made it a to do because Seb was there last year.
Maybe so. Or my feeling is they were like, you know what, this was kind of nice to all come together. Like, let's make
Yeah,
this a thing. And whoever's around, because I have to imagine this was probably like relatively early in the weekend, like maybe the
sure.
Tuesday of the week. And so it's like if you're here by this date, like we're all gonna do dinner again.
Oh, so you
Um,
don't think this was today?
no, I don't think so.
Oh,
I feel like it was earlier in the week. I could be wrong, but I
well, they
feel
could
like it
have shown
was
it to us sooner. But that makes
that's
sense
what I'm
because I was
saying.
trying to figure out like why people weren't like why there were some people that weren't there. Now, but then I thought it because I was assuming that it happened like today. And so then I was like, well, maybe like the Haas, like Kevin had his family here. I can't remember who else isn't in the photo. Like, where's
Yeah.
Logan? Where's Fernando?
Right. Well, so that's the thing. So you've got both Mercedes drivers, which honestly, like, not that I'm surprised Lewis is there, but I'm kind of surprised Lewis is there.
Lewis seems like he's making a real effort this year to like
Be a part of the group.
bond. Yeah.
Sitting next to Charles Leclerc, as I said,
Mentor
he
mentee.
loves he yeah. Someone commented on our I can't remember if it was Instagram, TikTok, but that like Sebastian Vettel and Mick both left the grid, and so Lewis and Charles were like, will take over that role of like old driver,
Mm,
young driver, like,
nice.
whatever. Yeah, I mean that lineup of Yuki, Charles, Lewis is like right up my alley. So yeah, so you have both Mercs, you have both Ferraris, both Alpha Tauris, both Alfa Romeos, but only one Williams, one Alpine, one Aston Martin, no Red Bull, no McLaren, no Haas. Is that it?
Hmm. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can agree Esteban's probably sick,
Sure.
recovering.
Especially now that this is at the beginning of the week, it changes a lot of
Again,
things for me.
that's not confirmed. That's just what I'm assuming. I could see Max saying like, "Catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy your dinner." Um, I'm surprised about the no Lando Oscar.
Me
That's the one.
too. Which is giving me like it's making it
Pause.
that is well, no, it's
But but sorry, now I'm doing some like investigation in my own head. Apparently,
sure.
according to Daniel JPEG, I think he traveled to Abu Dhabi with Lando and Oscar. Now,
Well, this is us.
some people think that McLaren had a dinner that night, like a some sort of dinner, and they couldn't go.
Deal.
Who, who's to say? But I loved it. I loved parsing through, figuring out
Hmm.
where, so where would you sit? Who would you
At
sit
the head of the
between?
table next to, between Daniel and Valtteri.
Oh, okay. I would have sat obviously between, okay, 100% would sit between Pierre and Carlos so that I could have eyes on view of Yuki, Charles, and Lewis, but be in between Pierre and Carlos, despite
Hmm.
my fatigue. I can make
Yeah.
the sacrifice.
Despite my fatigue.
And I think it'd be great. I have a
Yeah.
great
I mean,
time.
we would have a great time.
Who got the bill? Did they split or did one person buy?
You know, it's interesting when it comes to stuff like this because they don't all make the same amount of money. And I don't
Correct.
know how much. Lewis seems like the guy to pick up the bill, but I
I mean,
don't
he picked
know
up
if
the bill
he.
last time, but that felt more
Yeah.
like ceremonial. It was like Seb's retiring. This is,
I'm the captain now.
I think Lewis, like initiated that whole thing. So like, I think he probably felt like I'm the one that planned this, so therefore I should
Yeah.
get the
I
bill.
could see them
Also,
all
I'm
just like
rich.
paying for themselves. The thing that's annoying about that though is like you just never not that they're any of them are hard up for cash, but you just never know
Do you think
you
someone
know,
came by with like the card reader, like, okay, so you owe, and then
You
it
know,
was
I
like
don't think
tab.
rich people do that. So you know what? Someone paid and I don't know who it was. One
I think it
person
was
paid.
Lewis. I think
Yeah.
we can safely say it was Lewis. It was definitely not Yuki or
I mean, Lance could have picked up the tab.
Lance could have picked up the tab. You're so right. Daniel could have been like, I have some McLaren money, cha-ching on me, you know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, it was great. I very much enjoyed
Yeah.
it, and I hope that they continue this forevermore
Me
because
too.
it's just a good time. And let us know who you would sit next to at this dinner.
Yeah.
Because it's always fun to decide. Okay, let's go through some of these questions that are gonna
Okay.
hopefully, spice things up a little bit. Um, okay, if you had to be in a romance trope with a team principal, who would it be and what would the trope be?
Well, Toto Wolf.
Not Christian?
No. Um, like enemies to lovers?
Um, yeah. I was gonna say like some sort of like workplace something
Yeah.
something.
A grumpy boss.
So true. So true. That's
Uh,
a good one. That's a good one. Grumpy boss. Hilarious.
I hate that phrase that like
I know.
it's like it's
I
so
know.
little,
It's so
but
gross.
I've read about 30 of them. So
Um, okay, someone said, what would you do if Daniel made an appearance in Botas's next calendar?
fall over.
I honestly I don't need that from Daniel.
Yeah, I know. I don't either. Like, I might be more inclined to purchase it, but like, it's not something
It's-
that like will set my soul on fire or anything. You know,
no, it honestly,
Zoe hates it. She literally goes, "No."
no. Now, if it was just a calendar of just his thigh, then I'd purchase that. What?
Nothing. I had a little hiccup.
Oh, sorry. Thought you were like trying to stop yourself from saying something.
Mm,
So yeah, I mean, it would be like entertaining, I suppose, but like, I don't really like only Valtteri can pull that thing off. Like, it's just like I
yeah.
don't really need it from anyone.
Yeah, we don't need to start like I don't think I want a like driver's calendar version of the Botas
Act
pantless
out.
calendar. Yeah, I
No,
just mm,
no. I don't know why. Why is that? Why is that
I
like?
don't know because
There's some. It's
well,
like
first of all, there's several butts of theirs that I don't want to see. And we won't get into the list, but it's just like not something that I need. And I think it started off as such an organic thing
I,
that was
talk
just
about
so,
self-aware.
yeah. And it was just so perfect and funny and so Botas that it was like, even the calendar, it doesn't bother me, but we don't need cameos from anyone else.
We don't need cameos. No, 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 no. Best worst moments from Martin Brundle this year. Can you think of any of like your? I mean, I think one of his worst was the car Delavine.
Yeah, and the Machine Gun Kelly, that was
Machine
awful.
Gun Kelly.
Poor guy. I will say today that the text I sent you, I don't remember his name, but the golfer
The golfer. Yep.
literally operated exactly the way one is supposed to
Yep.
operate when they are
Yep.
doing a grid walk interview with Martin Brundle. He was like,
Kind.
"Oh no, I know you. I'm scared, but this is who
Yeah.
invited me. This is who I'm supporting. I'm really excited to be here." And then he said, "What are you doing right now?" He said, "I have some time off, just hanging out with family. Really excited for next season."
Yep.
Is that hard?
No,
It's not
it's not.
hard.
It's not hard. I really liked the Jackie Stewart running over
Mm-hmm.
to get Roger Federer. That
Yeah,
moment will
pretty
always
iconic.
be iconic.
And was
And
it
then,
this year that he was going through the legs?
yeah, I was going to just say that. I was going to
Yeah,
say that.
that was really good. I mean, he doesn't deserve to be brushed off for the
No,
amount of effort he's willing to put in.
no, no. And I just, again, like this is probably going to go into our influencers guide to F1 thing
Mm-hmm.
about like the Martin Brundle of it all. Like You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, like, you will win so many brownie points
Yes.
if you not only go and stop and talk to Martin Brundle, but that you actually like you bring it, and
Hmm.
you have something to say. Um, I think that would be, I think that would be great.
Agreed.
Um, okay. What else? Someone said they want a Hunger Games F1 drivers matchup sometime, which maybe that's a future. By the way, I saw the new Hunger Games. It's good.
Oh, good. I need to see it. I can't. They want to see the drivers do a Hunger Game, or they want us
They want like
to do
who
them.
would do well, like how would they go? How would they do in the Hunger
Okay.
Games?
I
But
don't
that could
know.
be a future.
Yeah, because I need to watch the Hunger Games.
Have you not seen it?
Is there only one?
No.
Yeah, I've only seen the one. I know. We talked about
Oh,
this. Yeah, so I
okay.
need
Well,
to
yeah,
do
you'll
some
definitely do that.
research.
Do some research. Do some research. Um, interesting. Kiss, Mary, Kill.
Oh God.
Daniel, Lando, Charles.
Kiss Lando, marry Daniel. No, no. Wait, did I say the same thing twice? Hold on. I got panicked. Kiss Lando. Yeah, no, marry Daniel, kill Charles.
Yeah, unfortunately, I
Weird.
think that's what I'm gonna have to do as well.
The beginning of the year me would not have seen that coming.
Poor Chuck.
She
He'll be
would
okay.
have kissed Chucky, but he'll be fine. He's Alexandra.
He'll be so fine. He will be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, as
It's
if,
not like he's so
that was
concerned
a
about
real
us.
concern. Do you remember when we were laughing about like just that's why we couldn't handle being a wag. Like we were having that conversation and we just
No.
started laughing. It was a long time ago. And I like randomly did like a TikTok post about it because I felt confident in that moment. But it was like we were just like, well, I
Oh,
could it just be so
yes.
much
We
pressure and like the outfits, like feeling like I have to be on all the time. And then I just started laughing. And I said, but what are we even talking about? Like they have to want to date us for us to ever end up being a wag. And
we were
that's
talking about wanting to be the friends of the flags,
the
friends of the
flags.
wags. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, which, still on the
Yeah.
table.
Call me. I'd love to be a
Costs.
flag.
Yeah. Um, okay, what else do we have here? Someone said, is Piastri a psychopath? He never shows any emotion.
I disagree.
I disagree as well. He is a just someone that doesn't, he's not, I relate to this in a lot of ways. He's not like the most demonstrative person. Um, but I think he's just more low key.
Well, like even like yeah, I mean, I feel like today, the way you reacted when we realized it didn't record, like you're just like,
Yes.
but here's the silver lining. And it took me until, I don't know, 15 minutes into recording to just like not worry about it anymore. And I was like huffing and puffing around here. My family was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, they didn't record, you know? And Oscar's a lot more like Zoe.
That is true. Actually, people, yeah, maybe Oscar, because when people ask me who I'm most like, I feel like I often say Carlos, which maybe now I'm like so
Is that
over
why
my
you're
own
fatigued?
self. Maybe I'm not like
No.
Oscar. I think we're kind of similar, but different, different. Um, okay, who is the driver that cannot be left alone at a party? Yuki?
Maybe, but can't be
I mean, I
left
don't know what
alone.
he's gonna do, but like
Right. I think that's the question. Like, because they're going to get out of control, because they'll be really emotional about it.
they can't like chit chat by themselves. I mean, maybe
I think
Lance.
Yuki checks a lot of those boxes, to be fair. Like, Yuki feels
Yeah,
safe.
let's just say Yuki.
You
Okay,
just
a
don't know what he could
few
get up to.
you don't know. Some of these I can't even get into. Um,
Are they more
someone
unhinged
said
than you had planned?
just like a little bit. um, I'm trying to see if you could fire one team principal and bring back Otmar, would you? And who? I mean, there's some that I like don't really know or care about, like Mike Crack, Aston Martin team principal, who I'm sure is a wonderful person.
Zoe, I literally didn't know. I mean, I've
You
heard his
see,
name, but I didn't. No, no, no. I've heard his name. I didn't realize he was the team principal because I've never like seen him. or I haven't. I didn't. Yeah. Um. Hmm.
So like I don't want to fire anybody, but like
No.
I would like to bring back Otmar. Let's fire Franz Toast.
Perfect.
He's
Although it
already
does.
this way out.
Wait, who is coming in?
Laurent Mecchi. No, not Laurent Mecchi's.
McCle-
That is the
No.
no, that's Laurent. So I think it is Laurent Mecchi's. He used to be at, I'm looking it up, used to be at Ferrari. Yes, it is Laurent Mecchi's. French engineer, formerly worked at assistant team principal at Ferrari. You don't like this.
I'm just gonna move past it. I don't want it to fire anybody. But I was gonna say with um the Ford of it all, it could be interesting for Otmar to.
Oh, for Red Bull or
I mean, if
AlphaTauri?
well, wasn't AlphaTauri also gonna be?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Christian's not going anywhere, so
No.
I don't want to fire Christian, to be honest. I think he's perfectly
Yeah.
placed.
I don't know that I want Otmar being with Daniel and Yuki though.
Well, that's why I wasn't so sure.
I feel like that just would be weird.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna have to learn Japanese. And I don't know if we want that.
Why?
Konnichiwa. Because he tried to learn
Oh,
French and he tried to learn Spanish
right.
for
I was like,
Fernando
why does yes, you're right.
and Italian because I'll have to learn Italian for AlphaTauri and then I'll have to learn
Mhm.
Japanese for Yuki.
Well, yeah, that
So
feels like a big workload for him. So no, but I do want him to come back. So I won't do
I
the firing, I
know.
won't do the picking, but it'd be great if he came back. What I really want is I want him to be at Alpine so that we can talk to him about his investors.
Totally. Totally.
So
Well, we will meet Otmar at some point.
I know I can't wait.
We were very close this past year. We didn't even know it,
I
staying at the same
know.
hotel.
What a bummer. Can you imagine
So
if we came down for one of our, I don't know, 18 meals we ate at the hotel bar and saw Mar sitting there? We're the coolest people to travel with.
we just went for breakfast like every day. What else do we go for? I don't feel like we went that much.
I know, I'm just kidding. I
No,
mean,
it's
it was
when
just,
we ordered food like 17,000 times, like going to pick up our
yeah,
Uber Eats.
man. And
Hey,
I'll
Ahmad.
tell you what, we really got that down. 20 minutes
Oh, we
out
did.
in the Uber, order food. It arrives right when we get back. Wow. People don't do it like us, and they really should.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that is our episode complete. We did it.
I sure
Hopefully
fucking
this
hope so.
works. If it doesn't work, no Abu
You
Dhabi
won't get an
episode.
episode. It's just not gonna happen. I can't do this a third time. And both times I had truly just woken up.
That's so true. That's so funny. Um,
So
well, here's to our hopefully like last remote episode for a while. Or actually, that's not
yeah.
true. That's not true.
Well,
We might have to do
we'll
one.
talk.
Okay, we'll figure it out. And thank you for being a trooper, Hannah. I appreciate
Of
it.
course. Thank you for being a trooper. I mean, you had to do this again too. Thank you for being my
I know,
Oscar.
but as we've established, I think
Mhm.
I came to terms with it a little bit quicker than you did, but that's okay. Thank you to everyone who listened, was on this journey with us. Redoing this pod. Hopefully it was, good enough. I don't know. And if it wasn't, just like don't tell us because we did our
Yeah,
best, okay?
yeah. Just
Um
we'll catch you on the next one.
yeah. 2023 season is donezo.
Closed.
On to
Over and out.
2020 over and out. It was a great season. I think I really did enjoy every single race to some degree.
Yeah.
And I had a great time recapping it, whether it was with you or our guests that we would have on for various races. And I cannot wait for 2024 and the
Yeah.
races that are to come
And the liveries. And
and
the
the
names.
liveries and the names and
And
everything
the seats.
else. So much. Thank you to everyone who has, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube,
Please.
review, rate, 5 stars, all the things. We need them. Please, just like we've had a rough day. Okay, just give us 5 stars. Give us the review on Apple Pod and make us feel better. We'd really appreciate it. Anything else, Han?
Yeah. No, we love you all. Thank you for being here.
Okay. See you guys next week.
Enchante.
Enchante.